Hi, everybody. It's Alita Hernandez, rebooted the podcast. And I was talking to myself just a little while ago. Didn't press the live button. Anyway, I'm still in season 2, episode 6. Can you believe that I'm saying that? I remember my first show. I was so nervous. I didn't know, I was tongue tied, I didn't know what I was going on. So I apologize for the dog in the background. Unfortunately, I have visitors at the studio, and all timing is unbelievable, isn't it? Hold on, I'll be right back in 1 second here. Okay, we resolved the puppy issue. He wants to be on the podcast too. So today on episode 6 for this new season, I am, and there he is. There's my purito, and there's JC. Um, I'm talking about change. So, change, that's a big word. A lot of people, just the sound of it, they get a little cringe, like, change. What do you want me to change in my life? Well, I say, like everything else, when you're born, you start doing baby steps. I think it's the same process you need to do that when you want to change. Now, I was caused to change because of the stroke that I had 6 years ago. Some people have heart attacks, whatever the issue is, something life altering, right? Something life altering that makes you do that aha moment and you think, am I living the way I want to live? And I had that several times in my life. Even before I had the stroke, I knew that I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with my job. I just wasn't, I was miserable. I felt really miserable because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, or what I felt that what my purpose in life should be. And I'm 58, so it's taking me all this time, to like figure this out, right? So, and I'm still figuring it out. I learn every single day. So, one of the things that I have here, and I just wanted to first just to say is you have to embrace change. So, because, and I give it an example. So, because I was sick and I felt that I had problems walking, I had problems speaking, I had problems moving. I decided physically I was terrible. I was overweight. I was eating poorly, and everything I put into my body was not good. It was toxic. Everything was toxic. So I knew that was one of the first steps. I said, I need to find out from somebody like a nutrition or something, really understand food. And you'll be surprised that a lot of times you have to do your own research. I mean, there are a lot of specialists out there that can help you. I chose the path of more a natural way, a more holistic alternative medicine way, because I don't want any chemicals in my body. I think I've had enough in my life. And speaking about chemicals, so part of my change in my life, I used to drink quite heavily. Um, I mean, every party was drink. And working in the entertainment industry, every time you go to an event, they hand you a glass of liquor. Now, I actually went to an event, they didn't even have water, which I thought was insane, but my opinion. So that becomes another thing because that's a whole big thing in society, and there's a lot of people that are in sobriety. It's very difficult for people who have struggled with alcohol to actually go out somewhere and not be tempted, because everywhere they go there's alcohol. So there has to be some form of, you still can have fun without alcohol. Trust me, I have plenty of fun without drinking, and then I remember what I'm doing. So that's key, right? So, so that's an example, and I haven't gotten touch the subject, but I will touch it now. Talking about toxins in my body. So, in my life, I have done drugs, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore to discuss it, and I will discuss it in detail in another episode, talking about recovery, because I did and was addicted to cocaine at some point in my life. And it was a very big struggle. And now I think about all the things that like the reasons how I led up to doing it back in the 80s. I can remember I had a really dramatic experience, which I talked about last podcast, about domestic violence, that I was um, physically harmed by somebody who I really thought that he loved me and I loved him. So, because of that trauma, and I was so young, I was 21 years old, it affected me in more ways than I understood. Okay, it affected me because my self-esteem went down, believing a lot of lies I was told by a very dominating person. So it changed my mind and or as we call it, mindset. I never knew what that word was. Now I do. Mindset is basically it's like at least my description is like a collection of thoughts that you have in your mind, correct? So what happens is if you constantly think that you're no good, that it was your fault, that like a lot of negative things, okay? A lot of negative things. You start believing it and you start now convincing yourself you're that person. And if you start saying, "Oh, I'm so lazy. Oh, I can't work. I'm so tired." I used to get up every day and say that I was tired. Guess what? I was tired all day because I would wake up and go, "Oh, I didn't sleep. I'm so tired. I can't handle it." And guess what? The whole day I spent like that complaining and being tired all day, you know? So, I don't get up like that. So now my change that I have done is and I have to thank my beloved friend and trainer Becca T T-Bon, BeccaTbon.com. She does a 17-minute workout fit, and there you go. I got some guns coming out. Okay, the flab's going away. I got some guns. Thank you, Becca. And my triceps are burning right now too. But that was a change I did. I had to make a change for me. I had to make a decision. What am I going to do to change my life? What am I going to do to get physically fit, right? So I signed up to take training with Becca. And she has customized programs, she has one-on-ones, she helps you with food. She's amazing. I'll put her website information on there. Please check it out. If you want to sign up, she has some great deals. You can work out from Zoom and she has live at 7:30 in the morning, or you can do on demand when you like. Usually it's really good to be in the morning with the ladies because we're accountable to each other, and it's like, hey ladies, how are you? And it's most of the times we're 40 and older, but everybody's welcomed. Men can use the bands. I have some bands here. I'll show you. This is my sexy flexi. So sometimes, oh, I can't even do that because my arms are sore. Becca, thank you, Becca. So anyway, I can do I can do triceps from right here and just put it behind my back. Let me see if I can do it. And then I can do tricep. Well, I sit here and talk to you. Look at that. I can do triceps. And my triceps are burning from yesterday. So, and it's 17 minutes a day. So, if you can't spare 17 minutes a day, you got to love yourself. You got to get 17 minutes a day, love yourself, and do something physically fit. Okay. I've lost 75 pounds. Okay. Now, I wasn't a slave to the scale. That's one thing Becca always talks about. She's not to be constantly looking at the scale. A number is a number. Okay. But the body itself, when you start losing weight, you'll see my arms. I have more definition. I've lost fat. My face is smaller. I used to have big old cheeks like this, right? from from eating poorly. And I didn't see the whole video. Somebody sent me a video talking about how you can detect right even from your face. Not that I want you to start looking at everybody, but how healthy you are and the inside. If your face is like puffy and round, you have a lot of fat in your pores, right? You have fat underneath the skin and you're not eating healthy. A lot of times, the puffy eyes, it comes from too much salt. You have too much sodium in your system, and then you get those dark circles, and they get puffy. They get like all swollen, like they have water in it or something, and that's from salt. There's a lot of different things you can do, and you can learn. The one main thing which I should mention, which is very important, the first thing you need to do to embrace change is have an open mind. You need to have an open mind because we've been trained since we were little, since even before we were born, our parents had habits and we've been trained and conditioned. I went to Catholic school all my life, and I'm not saying anything against the Catholic school or anything like that, but it was very rigid. It was very strict. A lot of my friends out there were still friends from St. Joan of Arc and St. Joan of Arc and Jackson Heights, Queens, and St. Agnes High School and College Point that just closed after like 100 years, which is really sad. The education was amazing. I didn't embrace it as much because I didn't understand. I was so young. I wish I did back then, but it stuck, right? Education was incredible. It was a private education, but it was very rigid, and there was a lot of rules and regulations, and you try to when the principal came down the street, especially she used to be a nun, right? So she would wear all white hair, really white hair, and from high school, and she would come down the hallway, and she walked very straight, and she was very serious, and everybody was just like, "Oh, she's coming." Everybody was so afraid of her, right? But so again, embracing change. So first thing is open mind. Open mind to believe that you can change. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself that you can change completely. You want a better life, or you want to be happier? Do you want to wake up and go, "I'm happy I woke up." I wake up now and I'm very grateful. Being grateful is so important. Gratitude is very important, to be grateful for the sun up, that you can see the sun rise the next day, because tomorrow's not promised. It's not promised for anybody. So being grateful is one key thing when you do a change, to remember that in your mind. And set some goals for yourself. It's all baby steps. So when I started my workout or my change, it was slow. This is not overnight. This is not overnight. Like I said, 6 years of really concentrating. I remember we would do events. We've been doing events for years, JC and I, and we do salsa events. So I went to a couple of I'm always at every event, and I could not dance. And people are like, "Oh, you want to dance?" I'm like, "No, it's okay." I just had to buy out a little bit. But I couldn't raise my arm. This arm I could not raise. I couldn't do a turn. I remember somebody turned me in class. I was taking a salsa class, and I one like tear dropped down because of the pain that I had in my shoulder. So you have to take baby steps. But at least set a goal. Set a goal. Look, I want to work out twice a week, 3 times a week. Once you build a habit, it's taken me so long. My Becca has been telling me this for years, okay? And I've been getting much, much better, being consistent, and she's even been helping me because she's a mile away from my house. So I walk from my house in the morning a mile to her house, do my 17-minute workout, then I walk around with her. Sometimes we walk the dog, and then I walk a mile back home. So I did my walking and I did my exercise, and I got it all done before 8:30 in the morning. I can have my whole day, and it has made such a difference in my life. Just getting up early and doing that routine, I feel amazing. I have so much energy. I go 12 hours. Sometimes I stay here at the studio 10, 12 hours, and then go home and cook dinner for my family. And I have, my mother, my aunt, and JC's aunt, and I'm a caregiver. So, I have a full life, but I'm happy. I'm happy that I can spend the time with my family, with my mother, my beautiful mother, 85 years old, and my aunt, 83. It's amazing to have them still around, because I've lost so many of my aunts and uncles and grandparents and my father. So it's awesome. But I know I go off tangent, but I still want to say about the change. So changing one thing at a time. If you can set some goals, um, go on like my podcast, listen to my podcast. Look, go to other. I have a podcast that I did earlier. Please go back to episode one, like maybe three or four. That Sunday does meditation. It's amazing. It's a lot of breathing. It's a lot of calming. It's not weird. I was raised Catholic. I went to Christian churches and Catholic churches, and I believe and I have belief in God. Everybody has their beliefs. I'm not touching that. Okay. But what I'm saying is, this is something for you. We were, as a, I was raised that not to be like self care was selfish. I really thought that when people said self care was selfish. I'm like, why would you want self care? Like, why do you need time for yourself? Yeah, you do. You really need time for yourself because if you don't regenerate, if I don't do that and exercise and then get enough sleep and enough and a good food in me, I can't be good for anybody else. I can't. I have to be good myself and take time for me so I can take care of others. And a lot of times we burn out. I've done that before. I used to be a project manager, I used to be an IT manager. I used to be sitting inside the server room with like hundreds of computers and just talking to machines all day. Okay, and fixing problems all day long, just problems all day. People calling me, hi, my printer doesn't work. Hi, this doesn't work. Hi. And you're like, yeah, okay, no problem. And it gets to you. It really does. So all my techie friends out there, take some time for yourself. Do some self-care. Take a moment. Take when you take a I know we don't get breaks. I was just gonna say when you take a break, right? But when you take a even 15-minute break, go outside, get some sun, get out of the server room, get some sun. You're too pale, and just breathe and take a moment and just meditate and breathe the fresh air and feel the sun on your face and just go, thank you. Thank you, I'm alive. Thank you, I have a job. Thank you for my family, and continue your day. Just those 5-10 minutes that you do will make such a difference. And then you incorporate that in your life every day. Learn how to meditate. There's plenty of videos on YouTube. Go to look for meditation. There's a lot of things. I have the chakra, the crystals. Okay, a lot of people think this is all weird stuff. No, it's not weird. Okay, there's science behind a lot of things. There's we have so much power as human beings. They just don't want you to know that. You have a brain. The brain controls everything. I know for a fact that the brain is amazing. One, because when I had the stroke and I lost the left side, I couldn't understand, why can't I move my leg? Why can I move my arm? Why? And the doctor explained to me is because when you lose oxygen to your brain, thank goodness that it was just oxygen. I didn't have a bleed. It damages part of your brain. So because of the damage of the brain, it didn't know what to do. Like my left leg, I would look at my left leg and go, move. And it would just go, I'm thinking about it. I'll move in a minute. And like maybe a little bit later, okay, it moved a little bit. So your brain controls everything. So if you just realize that, you can break anything from the past. You can break, I mean, it takes time. I have an incredible women's group that I just joined, and I have to say, thank you to Sherry and Sharonada and all these beautiful women in my life. Miss Maya, Sunny, of course, Becca. I always mention you. There's people that are in my life right now, in my circle that inspire me to be a better person. I have to say that they inspire me to embrace change. They support me as a woman, and they're so amazing. I'm going to have Sherry on this show. She's going to talk about it herself. I don't want to get into it because I think she does a better job than me, but just amazing women out there. And just know, as a woman, okay, they are support groups out there. Reach out, send me a message. There's always somebody out there for you. Don't feel alone out there. Don't feel alone, because there is somebody that can talk to you, or we can guide you to get some help and how to start with the change. If you want to do have a different life. Just anything you want to do. You want to change your career. How many times have you moved? You moved, right? That's a change. I have moved. I have done so many changes in my life. I moved from New York, born and raised in New York City. Then I spent my summers in Puerto Rico with my family. Then I moved from New York to LA and lived in LA for 13 years. eloped to Vegas with my ex-husband, which we actually were married twice, and had two beautiful children. And then we decided to come back to well, then we decided from California to move to Florida due to the fact that my mother was here and my family was in Puerto Rico. A 9-hour trip from LA to San Juan is not fun. So we decided we came back to the family. Now, I'm a Puerto Rican by blood. Everybody see my new tat of my Teano Indian, my warrior queen on my shoulder. Mm, That just symbolizes just that I'm a warrior because I've survived so many things, and just patriots to my to Puerto Rico because that's my blood, and I really truly believe that I have Indian blood in me as well, and the flower of Puerto Rico. So I spent my summers in Puerto Rico, and then when I moved from LA to Miami, or for the Florida, South Florida, to be closer to my family. And we were raised that way. We were raised to take care of our family. My grandmother was cared for at my aunt's house where we all live right now. She actually died there. She was 90 years old when she died. My uncle passed away at home too. He had cancer. He was terminal, and he died at home, and we took care of him. And well, I was there too with him, and now I take care of my mother and my aunt in the same house. So it's not easy. I Did you think I ever expected to be a caretaker or caregiver and having to do this? But I always knew I would have to take care of my mother. I'm her only daughter, so I'm the only daughter, I'm the only niece. I was the only granddaughter on my mother's side. On my father's side, there's a whole bunch of us. But on my mother's side, it was just it. So I've taken care of my grandparents. I've taken care of even other like second aunts and uncles and other people in my life, not realizing maybe that was part of my life that I was supposed to be doing is, caring for others. I'm still doing it, so I guess that's part of my life. But I love taking care of people and that they're happy, and I try my best. And I just want to give you some guidance on just learning different words. Learn the word mindset. Look up the word mindset. We have the ability to change so much in our lives. And if each person changes, it will affect the world. That's a big statement, I know, but it is true. Kindness goes a long way. So if you show kindness to somebody else, you might save their life. You don't know if that hello, good morning to somebody that you passed by when you were walking or something, or in the supermarket, it could change somebody's life. You can really save somebody's life because you don't know where they're at. They could be mentally thinking about suicide, or they're very depressed. I know there's a lot of depression has happened since 2020 and all the COVID and all that stuff. I don't want to talk about that. But I just want to mention it because it did affect our lives, and people are still stuck. Okay, still stuck, so afraid to go outside. Don't be afraid to go outside. It's fresh air. You need sun, you need fresh air. I've had COVID twice. And thank goodness I am good. And people said, "Oh, because you're compromised." Because I've been diabetic for the last probably 20 years now. But I've got that all under control right now, which I'm so super happy about, from changing my diet, and everything has to do with the food you eat and the things you think and what you say. We have such weird sayings in English, even in Spanish. For example, somebody walks in the room and you're waiting for something like, "Oh, look, we're just talking about the devil." Oh, and there they walked in. Don't say that. You really want to refer to your friend as a devil? I never thought about it. I'm like, "Oh, speaking of the devil," and then they walk in. No, that's not nice. Or I don't know, just my opinion. Just little things that we say. Like I said to you before, I used to say I'm tired. Every morning I woke up, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired." And guess what? All day was like that. Now I wake up, I'm happy, I'm energetic. Um, uh, I've been listening to a lot of meditation tapes on YouTube. Sorry, tapes. I'm going back like I'm 1975, right? Yeah, I'm not putting a cassette tape in there. So I'm listening to podcasts or YouTube video, right? And on YouTube, you can look up meditation, manifestation. You can talk about and if you change the words, you'll see that even in religious books they have the same verbiage, but you didn't understand what it meant. It you have control too. God gives you ability, but now you have to harness that ability and move forward because he's not next to you. There's nobody carrying you around all day long here, like telling me, Alita, here, do your job, do this, okay, next, do this. No, you have to carry yourself. Nobody carries you. You have to carry yourself. So so think about that. The mind, you can everything is controlled by your mind, which is your head, is your mind, right? So, if you are going through depression or fearful to come out, there's always guidance out there. There's a lot of YouTube videos also on reprogramming the subconscious, because everything is in your subconscious, which means that in your subconscious, the the um the problem is that we've been trained so much that we have been conditioned so much that it stays in back there. So, forgive me, I'll give you an example. So, and this might be funny for those people who are Latin, might understand, and I might do some Spanglish here because it loses its sense. But when I was young, grandma always had a little saying, "Oh, don't go outside with your hair wet. You're gonna get sick or whatever." Well, it depends on the temperature, of course, but just little things like, "Oh, you after you eat, don't do this," or just little tales of like, "Oh, if you open the refrigerator, if you open the oven and then you open the refrigerator, then your face is gonna get stuck like this because you went from hot to cold." I don't know, silly stuff like that. So, these things stay in your brain. So when something happens now, all of a sudden it could trigger you. Because like the other day, got triggered by something, and I was so upset, and I'm like, why am I upset? And then I realized that it triggered a memory that I had. I had a memory that I had from a child, that somebody said something to me. Because when I was little, growing up in New York, so I was born in 1965, so segregation ended in the early 60s. So Puerto Ricans in New York, we're mixed, right? I have a little color, a little golden color. Some are darker, some are lighter, some have blue eyes, some have green eyes. My cousins are blonde. I mean, we're all mixed. We're a rainbow family because that's what we are. We're mixed with a lot of different cultures in from the native Indian that was in the island to all the foreigners that came on the boat, the English, the Spaniards, the Portuguese, and of course the Africans that were on the boats as well. And then they mingled with the Indians. So we're all mixed up. We still have red blood. Okay, we're all human, but we're different. And I just lost my thought. Wow. So anyway, talking about that again. So because I grew up in New York, I guess anywhere else and in the country things went the same way maybe. I remember as a little girl feeling very, how do you call it, uncomfortable, because some of my family member have very straight hair. Like right now, my hair is very straight because I flat ironed it and everything. But when I was a little girl, my hair was very, very curly, very kinky, as that word, which I don't know. It was just dry and curly. That's how my hair was, dry and curly. So my mother always used to like, push it all back, and then she would make like these braids, right? She would put these braids on, and I would be like, "Mom, I can't move," because my braids were so tight, just because she wanted to straighten my hair, and I didn't know. And it was because my mother lived through segregation. So my mother's very white, and my aunt was it's like my color, just a little color, right? So at that time, my mother would get on the bus, and they would tell my aunt to sit in the back of the bus with the coloreds, as they called it before, to sit in the back, and my mother would have to sit in the front with the whites. And my mother refused. They both refused. So they would walk. They would not go on the bus because they were not going to be separated. It was ridiculous. So because they went through that, they were very careful about association, because it was almost like a stigma, even in the Latinos, in us Latinos, Boricua. We have we we also discriminate against each other. Ay, ese negrito, the black guy in the street. I mean, we don't say it mean. We when we tell people, we say negrito means like black, right? But it's a terms of endearment, right? But we grew up that way because when we grew up in New York, you had all these different races. So how do you identify a person? We just grew up, oh, Mr. Jim, the Chinese guy from the corner store, or Mr. Lopez, the Boricua from the other store, or Mr. Howard, the Jewish guy, and it wasn't a racist thing. It was identification, because how do we identify people? There was so many different races. I knew Greeks, I knew Italian. Um, Growing up in New York, we're like, I always say I was like, I'm half Italian, half Puerto Rican, because I learned how to cook sauce. Because my friends were, I'm first generation, right? So I was the first, I was born in New York City. My parents were born in Puerto Rico, and the rest of my family as well, as far as I can see. And so the same thing with my friends, they were first generation Italians or Irish. I had my really good friend Sheila, she's Irish, and her parents were from Ireland, and I remember the accent and the different culture and different food and things like that. And but as a little girl, I didn't could have cared less where she was from. We were friends, and we're still friends now. And it's our 40th anniversary high school reunion. Oh my gosh, did I just date myself? 40 years since high school graduated. I just turned 58. It's insane that to think about those years. But you know what? I am so happy that I'm alive and happy that I'm here to talk to you about these different things. And I hope every time that I come on, I hope that I help you out and that something resonates with you, and that I don't know, that a change can happen in you too. And you start living a little happier and a little healthier, just because of a little something that I've said to you. I really, really, really hope in my heart that I can do that for you. And so I'm just to do a couple more things, and then I'm going to end today's show. Which was kind of impromptu, but I've been doing some change in myself. So I wanted to share that with you. And so I have a couple of things here, just something to think about. So just for having some change, meditate. And then when you get up in the morning, try to meditate. Just pray, whatever the word you want to say. Pray, meditate, say hi to the universe, say hi to God, whatever you like to do, and just say thank you and be grateful and start your day with open mind. Oh, one big thing: this cell phone, don't open it up first thing in the morning. I find a huge change in me. Okay. Every morning I will wake up and cell phone, and I'm already looking and scrolling how many text messages and emails. And that's the first thing I see in the morning. And you don't want all that craziness in your head already. There's a lot of things going on in the world. And you don't want that. So what I did, one change that I just did recently is I set my alarm on my phone to get up in the morning to do my exercise. And I've been doing my best right now is not to scroll through the phone. Turn the alarm off, I put it down, I do what I have to do. I go for my walk and do my exercise, and then later on, about an hour and a half probably, and when I'm done working out, and I have my protein shake after I come back from at the house, then I look at my phone, because I've started my day, and as I'm walking, I'm meditating and enjoying the sun outside and looking at the clouds, and looking at the birds and listening to the birds. The birds are amazing. I have this mockingbirds by my house, and they just keep singing and singing in the morning. It's like a symphony of birds. It's a beautiful natural music. Music is awesome. I love music, and I can't be without music either. So meditate, get some fresh air. Like I said, walk, enjoy some time out there, eat good food. So anything that is fresh, like from the vegetable section, that section that sometimes you pass by, go to the vegetable section, get some nice fresh vegetables. There's local farms around that you can get some great stuff. Make a nice green salad, some lettuce, some tomatoes, some onions, some mushrooms, some beets. So many things you can do, and eat good. Raw is great if you can handle it. Just incorporate. If you don't have salad now, try to incorporate like some new veggies. Go to the store and go, oh wow, what's this vegetable? Oh, I never seen that before. And try it. Look it up on your phone. You got a phone. Look up the important stuff. Stop looking at the bad stuff. Let's get the good stuff on the phone. Look up some good things. Stay hydrated. People, stay hydrated. Okay, I filled it up again, so I have drank water. So this bottle is awesome. I'm trying to see if I can put it there. So it says ready to go. It goes from 8 a.m. all the way down till 1 p.m. and then I fill it up again from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. So I just keep this by me all the time. It's very heavy, but it's okay. It reminds me I have to drink, and that way I can see my progress. So even if you just start and you go, wow, I didn't really, you can see how much water did I drink. So that's another thing. Stay hydrated. Surround yourself with great people. Sometimes you have to clean house. You have to clean house. You have to clean your friends. I had part of my change. I had to take out the weeds and the people in my life because if you're not positive, I can't do it. I need like-minded people, people that have an open mind, that want to live a healthy life and be able to help others to live the same way. That's that's the type of people you want. Good people from the heart that you can trust. Find victory in small wins. So find victory. If you today, for example, make it simple. You get a, if you don't have one of these bottles, take the regular bottles of water, take 2 or 3 bottles out. Take 3 bottles out. And just tell yourself, I'm gonna make sure I drink those 3 bottles today. Start little. You come with those 3 bottles. Wow, I drank 3 bottles today. I haven't drank 3 bottles in years, right? That's a victory. That's wonderful. Congratulations. High five. That's great. So do that. Or today you try broccoli or something, just little things. Or you decided, today I'm always eating ice cream or I'm always craving something sweet. Somebody I looked up something that said if you crave chocolate is like you lack magnesium. Little lot of things like that. Again, other things that you can look up also. Your body kind of tells you what you need because sometimes I'm like that. I crave a chocolate or I'm craving salty. I'm like, what's wrong? What am I missing? And then I find that I'm missing something in my diet that I need. Get regular exercise. Enjoy some hobbies. Come out, dance salsa. We got salsa dancing. We're gonna have a April 23rd. We're gonna have some meditation going on here. We're gonna have different events. I'll put it on Rebooted the podcast and also add the studio website, Studio 33 FLL. So please follow us and go to our Instagrams and follow us on all social media as well. And the last thing is like again, focus on positive things in any situation. In South Florida or in many places, it's very difficult to stay. Oh, what happened? Am I mute? Can anybody hear me? I'm gonna be upset. How long have I not been hearing? Okay. I'm good now? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I guess I muted myself and didn't realize it. Okay. So anyway, just to say, so the last thing I was saying is focus on positive things in any situation. For example, it's taking me a while and it's a struggle, but when you drive down the street, it is very difficult sometimes to stay positive and stay happy because not everybody drives the way they should. So in that situation, crank up the music, stay positive, stay in your lane, and just let the other person pass by because what else are you going to do? Can't fight. They can't hear you in the car. You start screaming, that person cut me off. They can't hear you. And they're also you're upsetting yourself. So what's the point? So stay positive. And then the last thing is maybe embrace on some personal development. Again, there's a lot of groups out there and teams that you can embrace changes slowly in a structure, but take little baby steps. So just that's what I wanted to say today about change, and I will continue talking about different topics and just keep looking on our social media to see who's next and who's my special guest in the next couple of weeks. So I appreciate you tuning in to Rebooted a Podcast. Please subscribe down there on the YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you're at, wherever you see me, on Twitter, iHeart, Apple. I really appreciate some comments would be great. Also, stars, whatever. Just click, click, click. Subscribe, subscribe. Rebooted the podcast and check out Studio 33 FLL for any event space that you need. We're here available 7 days a week. Just call us to set up an appointment to see the studio, and you can come out and do a walkthrough. We hold about 125 people, and we have event planners. We can set up your wedding. We can set up an artist showcase. We have a stage. There's a lot of things we can do here for you, and we just here for the community. So that way we have a nice, safe space to be at. So I appreciate everybody, and peace and much love to everybody. Till next week. Bye.